Jason, you're a little robotic. You might have to disconnect and come back before we start.
In the meantime, I'll play some waiting room music. How about that?
Let's go.
Okay. Okay, I'm back.
Speak again.
Okay, I'm back. Hopefully it's better now.
You sing.
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, everybody.
Sounded excellent. It's all good, Jason. That time gave me time to unleash my inner DJ, so I appreciate it.
I love it. I love it. I was just saying to everyone before you jumped in the Zoom call, Jen, how today has just gone by so quickly. Obviously, it's a bit different for you because it's still quite early in the day, but it's like 7 o'clock at night, and today's just flown by. It's crazy. But I'm just going to quickly nip to the restroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah, are we live on YouTube in the meantime?
We are indeed, and I'll read out the questions.
Yeah, no. Just wanted to make sure we're not muted or anything. But you go to the bathroom. I'll go ahead and kick us off.
Cool.
Hey, everyone. Can you guys believe it's July 5th?
No.
We are more than halfway through 2022, which is just insane for me to think about. I'm sure it is for everyone else as well. So everyone who's in the States that's listening, I hope you guys had a fantastic 4th of July weekend. I know a lot of us appreciate a little bit of a long holiday. We did have some work over here at EverRise that we were crushing through this weekend, so still a good time. But we do have a couple of updates that I do want to call out before we, get started and open up the floor. First and foremost, if you haven't seen it yet, now you're about to find out, but we did reduce the fee to bridge your NFT stakes from 3% to 0.5%. So a 2.5% difference, which is awesome. We have a couple of giveaways currently happening on Twitter. So there's the educational giveaways that we're going to start doing on a weekly basis. For now, TJ, the winners of that are being announced this week, correct? From last week?
Yeah, the winners are actually chosen. They will be published via an official tweet, but I can announce them now. Why not?
Yeah,
June 28th winner, Wooddock 79. June 29th, JFK_115. June 30th, EverRise 26. And July 1st, Airdrop Maker _. These are the winners for week 1. We are currently in week 2. And the importance of education, as we know, is paramount at EverRise. So these aren't going anywhere. If you were not selected in the first week, there's a very good chance you're selected this week or the following week or the week after that. So keep educating is what I will say.
Keep educating, keep pushing it out there. Now is the perfect time for folks to slow their roll a little bit in DeFi and take the time to do some due diligence and research. So we're going to keep that going. The scavenger hunt is still underway. I don't know if you guys can see me on YouTube, but I'm smiling ear to ear because we've been getting a lot of comments about the process of the scavenger hunt, and it's really fun to watch you all collaborate and try to slide into our DMs for hints. But no hints will be given via DMs if you didn't already know that. And we do have like one announcement that we did want to put out today, but I'm trying to figure out, I almost feel like, TJ, we should wait for Jason before we push it out.
We should, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll preemptively answer a question I've seen in Telegram in the meantime. Jen, you just announced that the fee for bridging NFT stakes was reduced from 3% to 0.5%, which is great. The question I've seen a lot is, why? Anytime something happens, people kind of wonder whether there's a calamity or on the other side, a major announcement. Neither of those is true. It's simply a question of the bridge wasn't really being used at 3%. And so one thing that we like over at EverRise is equilibrium and approaching states of equilibrium. So to the extent bridging NFT stakes is a way of sort of normalizing staking rewards and enabling people to have their stakes exist on their preferred chains, it was not being utilized. So now we expect it will be utilized more frequently. And that is the only thing going on with that reduction. It has nothing to do with any secret hints or secret plans. It's just we built something and we want everybody to use it.
Well said. And Jen, if you do want to lead into the next announcement, Jason is back. I do see him on YouTube.
Announcement? What's this?
Well,
What? When announcement?
When announcement? When fun
announcement?
little surprise?
What announcement? I almost feel like, you know what, Jason, you've put so much labor and love into this. Why don't you break the news?
Wow. Okay. Well, it's my pleasure to announce today that we will be making the V2 HODL Pass live for everyone to claim that are eligible. So if you held V2 Rise, you will now have the option to go into the NFT staking lab, into the claim, and you'll be able to claim it under the EverRise Mementos section. We've also got an amazing blog post put together by Buddy, also known as Matt, from the EverRise team. And a massive shout out again, as always, to Ben and Tim and all the development team that have put work into putting this infrastructure in place that we can integrate these NFTs into the ecosystem and give them meaning, give them purpose. And as we move forward as a project, you'll start to see a kind of, what's the word I'm after here? A pattern forming. And like I said a few months ago, everything we do, we build for the future, but we're also laying foundations and we're laying platforms down so that we can expand and integrate parts of our ecosystem within the NFTs themselves. So the blog post will talk about the NFT, the V2 HODL Pass, and Jen, it's been a few weeks waiting for this, but I'm really happy. I'm really relieved that it's out there now for the community to claim. And guys, I'm looking forward to you guys sharing some pictures of your NFTs.
And with that said, it is live now. You can go to the tweet above in the nest. It is pinned to click the link, connect your wallet, and claim. Surprise.
Right.
Without further ado, let's get into the AMA. It is 2:11.
It won't be the last surprise.
That's right. I think we made that clear at this point. I actually don't see any hands raised in Spaces. Are there any questions on YouTube or Discord or Telegram?
Yeah, there's a question here on YouTube. It's asking, does anyone know if EverRise currently does or will ever have Bitcoin on its balance sheet? That's a good question. Peter or Jen, TJ, you want to take a shot at answering that?
Sure. Well, a balance sheet is typically maintained by a corporate entity. EverRise, the DeFi protocol, is currently managed by EverRise PTE Limited over in Singapore, which does not own any Bitcoin, nor are there any immediate plans for that company to purchase Bitcoin. When the corporate entity, which is receiving seed funding or will receive seed funding, is established in the United States, then it will hold its assets in whatever is the most responsible manner. I don't think right now at the outset is a good time to hold anything that's not so stable. But this is certainly a question for Suresh to decide, and Ben. They have a lot more experience in financial markets than I do, or anybody on this stage, with love to all three of you guys. So the question of how to hold EverRise Incorporated's corporate assets will be one for them. And if they believe it makes sense to hold Bitcoin, then we surely will. Although I would imagine whatever portfolio the entity holds will be quite diversified and stable. So my sense would be that it would be all US dollars to start, or USDT, or some stable currencies, with an opportunity to diversify as EverRise proves its corporate foundations and proves its longevity. But, you know, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Lots of tech companies are holding it. I don't think we're going to go all micro strategy, in other words. But we'll see what happens.
Fair answer.
Feel free to raise your hands, guys, if you want to come up and ask any questions.
Oh, as we're waiting for questions, I'll use that as an opportunity to promote my own space.
Yes.
Tomorrow night at Wednesday, that's 8 p.m. Eastern / midnight UTC, I will be hosting a Twitter Spaces on the separation between corporate entity and DeFi protocols. This is something that's extremely important for any company that's seeking seed funding while also being backed by a token to consider. And I know there's still some lingering questions, so if anybody wants to come through tomorrow evening, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'll be happy to be taking questions on anything related to how a corporate entity can interface with a DeFi protocol for long-term success. So make sure to check us out tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Love it. Still no hands raised.
I got a question in Discord. While we're at it, Fonzie asks, "Are the matched coins already bought, or have they been bought already?" I appreciate the things Titan does for the community. Truly a one-of-a-kind CEO. I agree. I think, Fonzie, what you mean is that the version 1 liquidity is going through and buying up EverRise tokens to be distributed to stakers. Titan also promised in his Telegram announcement on June 16th that he would be matching those tokens so that whatever the version 1 token purchase amount is will be doubled. To the best of my knowledge, guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, the match comes from Titan's supply personally. They don't need to be purchased from liquidity. It's just tokens over which Titan currently has control, which he will be using to match the full amount of the purchase. That's what we've got, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, Fonzie, thanks for the question, and that's all I've got from Discord.
I just want to address Shields' comment in YouTube regarding Titan not being here, and it's a leadership AMA. Well, I can say right now we've got 3 leaders here in Peter, Jen, and TJ, very much leading their respective teams. EverRise, Suresh, Titan is very busy and is with Ben and the rest of the technical team, so he can't always make all of the AMAs that we do. Certainly for a big announcement, he would be most likely here. But we don't want to pull the technical team, devs away, and Titan away from his duties right now, because believe me, there's a lot being worked on behind the scenes.
Yeah, that was very well said, Jason. It's important to remember that, you know, we still have 4 team members here right now. Suresh is our CEO, but he is also a developer building the products for you, for us. And it's important to not take that time away from him or any of the other developers. So the odd time, yes, we will see Tim pop into the daily spaces, but the majority of time we don't see the devs because they are working, and it's important. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done, you know, amongst 4 to 5 people. So if you don't see them, they're definitely still around. They're just doing their job.
Absolutely. And if there is a question that only Suresh or only Ben can answer, we will immediately forward it to their attention and get an answer. But until then, you know, we have two staff meetings a week where they keep us informed. So for the most part, any question that Suresh could answer, one of us could answer. And if not, we'll go retrieve that answer for you. So if you do have a specific question, Sashil, please let us know. Drop it in YouTube. If there's something that you think only Suresh is competent to answer, let us know. And he will certainly get on it for you.
Brilliant. Any other hands up, TJ, at the moment?
Nothing.
Okay.
Let me check the other phone. Maybe it's my device, but I don't see any hands.
No worries. There is a question here. Wondering if and when we'll get the merging feature for the NFT staking lab. Would be nice to be merging my stakes into one stake for organization and transferring, etc., etc. I know that this was discussed a while back. There are plans afoot to kind of give you those sorts of solutions. Just hold on, wait for news from the dev team, and we'll be the first to let you know as and when those features are ready.
Yeah, and Jason, the only thing I want to add to that is kind of like looking at in terms of what the development team is working on and what you guys are already aware that they're working on. As you know, EverLaunch is going to be the next DApp to come out, and we'll do a simultaneous release with EverLock. So I think, our dev team, while they're incredibly talented and we're really efficient at getting things done, it's kind of like, just so you can get a peek at what it looks like from our side, it's like merging NFT feature or like getting 2 new DApps out the door. And that's kind of how we have to look at the prioritization of our development pipeline as well as business pipeline. Ultimately, right now, I think for us, the priority is on building new dApps that we can drive more adoption to. And we're seeing a definite need for a better way to launch DeFi projects. So I'm sure once that is complete, we can pick up and back looking at these smaller features and bells and whistles that we definitely want to incorporate into the staking lab in one shape or form.
100% agree. I mean, because we could literally be working on one DApp for months, like, because there's so much feedback that the community give us suggestions, and like if we were to go to the devs and like ask them to do everything at once, it would take months and months and months to get through all of these revisions, right, and get them through beta into live, and then all of a sudden you just essentially, you're not driving forward the actual roadmap. It's best to get these dApps out working and then add additional nice to have. These are nice to haves, not need to haves features to them. And they will come in time. You'll start to see EverOwn, EverSwap, EverRevoke, all of these dApps, they're going to eventually start to see updates and new additions added to them. But like Jen said, it makes perfect sense to prioritize and work effectively to get the roadmap realized, and we can move on from there. But great, I think Pete was about to come in, I think, just before.
Oh, sure. If there's no other questions, we can just keep talking about the process. Like, people might appreciate a little inside baseball. When EverRevoke was about to drop, or about a few weeks away from dropping, we also really wanted to upgrade the EverSwap UI. And so there was a long conversation in a staff meeting about which one should come first. And, people were like, well, EverSwap UI drives adoption, but EverRevoke is needed. So the prioritization became, well, let's get Revoke out the door as soon as possible because A, it's new, and B, it's useful. So I think that in terms of dev priorities right now, like Jen said, EverLaunch would be the most significant priority at the moment. And then as soon as we demonstrate proof of concept for all the various dApps, then we can fine-tune the dApps. I'm looking forward to the merge feature myself, but I can also manage the stakes just fine the way they are. So those are the kinds of things that we think about in terms of prioritizing development targets. And ultimately that's a call, in terms of how much bandwidth the dev team has too. So another thing we're looking forward to is when seed funding closes, we'll have more developers who can even just manage one particular dApp on their own and bring needed improvements to it, so we can simultaneously innovate and also iterate on the back end. So
I know that we've had quite a few requests from developers in this space looking to join us. We've got their CVs on file, and this is the perfect, this is the answer from the seed funding, right? Like you mentioned, like we're able to expand and have multiple teams working on multiple things at any given time.
Yeah, great answer. Peter, there's a question that I would love for you to answer on YouTube.
Nice. What you got?
I know you love talking about this. Is there a use case for EverRise dApps for traditional businesses of corporate entities outside of the crypto space, or are we ways away from this kind of mass adoption? So I asked you this because you love talking about the future use cases of EverOwn.
I do indeed.
Go nuts.
But I think the answer to both questions is yes. Is there a use case in traditional finance? Yes. Is it a ways away? Probably. And this will ultimately be a decision for EverRise Inc. down the line. But let's just take EverOwn right off the gate, for example. EverOwn is a way to lock a digital contract or asset until it is mutually agreed upon by specified parties that it should be released. That sounds a heck of a lot like escrow services to me. So to the extent NFTs and digital assets will be used in asset purchases for real estate, I myself, and I'm not speaking for anybody here but myself, I can envision a world where the deed to the house as an NFT gets locked in Everown until certain unlocked features are performed by a trusted third-party agent. I could also envision Everown being a tool for trusts and estates and probate. Probate being wills, and when people are deceased, they want to make sure that they have a way to will their assets to their heirs and inheritors. People would say, "Oh, we'll just give them your seed phrase before you die." I would much rather have a trusted third party where I can lock my assets and can verify my own demise, and then vote upon the release of those digital assets to the trust recipient or benefactor. Those are two possible options. EverMigrate could be used as a way for digital asset combinations, such that whenever two DeFi protocols or even two TradFi protocols that now have digital assets, if they want to merge them and create a third asset, a version 2 of their own assets, they could interface with EverMigrate, which arguably will change its name in the next 3 to 5 years as such things happen. Ever combine, ever merge, whatever. That's one option for people to engage with our Dapps in a traditional financial system. Of course, this does imply a certain amount of adoption of Web3, so it becomes less traditional. So I don't think this is going to happen tomorrow or even next year, but EverRise aims to be here for 5 to 10 years. And I can certainly see a world in which we're offering our services not only to DeFi protocols, but also those more experienced banks who want to engage with Web3 and to understand that Web3 is the future. So yes, thank you, TJ, for throwing me that softball. I've been talking about it myself for about a year now, and I'm excited to see the way we diversify our use cases over time.
Great answer. Great answer. I am on YouTube, Jason. Sorry, I'm stealing your thunder because there are no hands raised, so I'm grasping questions here. Here's another one. When those last few dApps get released, will EverRise double down on improving/marketing those dApps, or will the team take its focus on making more DeFi security solutions?
Both.
So I'll go ahead and take this one, TJ.
Sure.
Basically, if you kind of look at, our growth strategy and our go-to-market strategy, we're really focused on horizontal growth right now. So that means casting a really wide net, seeing where traction is, and then applying development resources accordingly. I think something to understand about Suresh as well as Ben, who kind of lead our technical development roadmap and pipeline and execution, is they're developers. And, Suresh and I have talked a lot about this. And, as a developer within the space, when he sees a problem, he wants to build a solution for it. And so I think that speaks really, really well to our development philosophy here at EverRise. We believe that our current ecosystem, once it's complete, will be fairly robust, and there are already logs of notes of things that we want to go in and add to Everown and various other dApps. I believe that we will continue to do that, right? So it's go for horizontal growth and then focus in on vertical growth depending on where we're seeing traction. But also, if there's a problem that arises in DeFi in a year or 2 years that we can build a solution for, it's certainly something that we're going to take a look at.
Very well said, Jen. And, I want to add on to that real quick. There will be other problems that arise in a year or two. As more retail investors, as more institutions, as more people come into this space, we will experience new problems. And, I think one thing that we've proven at EverRise is the development team that we have are able to build something from the ground up fairly quickly to conquer a problem. So bring those problems on, I say. We look forward to them, and we look forward to solving them because, obviously I have a little bit of a bias here, but if anyone can do it, it's the developers at EverRise.
Yeah, and to just frame that one last part up too, the way that I kind of look at EverRise in terms of what are we, right, at our core? That is a question that we get asked a lot, and we could always give you the super long format answer and be we're really focused on security and safety within DeFi and run you through all of our dApps. But really, when you kind of zoom out and look at that 50,000 foot view, we want to make the blockchain more accessible. We want to make Web3 more accessible. We want to make sure it's secure, hence all the infrastructure tools that we're building right now. And we want anyone, regardless of their development experience, right? Whether they're coming from Web 2 and they're an artist, or they're a community builder, or maybe they do have some dev experience, but it's like as these folks come over to Web 3, we want to be able to provide turnkey, secure infrastructure that they can trust and leverage, so that way they can focus on the important aspects of whatever protocol or project it is that they're building. It's like, let EverRise handle the tech. Like, my dream is to see, you know, of the top 500 projects on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, whatever that looks like in the next year or two. Like, imagine if half of those projects were all powered by EverRise in some capacity. And so, you know, that's how we think about our dApps. That's how we think about our ecosystem, is like, can we make this more accessible? Can we make this secure? How can we make sure that there's actually trust in this trustless industry?
Great.
We solve problems.
And we always will. Another question on YouTube may get caught out. Do we have a lot of traffic via Facebook, and do you think it's a necessary platform to use? I'll take this one. I think it is necessary to use because there are potential holders on any platform. Is it my favorite? Absolutely not. I'll tell you why right now. It's because there are tons of scammers on Facebook. If you look at anything that EverRise posts on Facebook, regardless of how many times the EverRise Facebook admins will go in and block these accounts, new ones pop up every single day that look exactly like EverRise with scam links. And, you know, I find Twitter is great in terms of support if you need it to, you know, take down a scammer. But Facebook and Instagram, not great. And unfortunately, I'm doing everything that I can to try and get us verified on there. But it comes down to, Meta seems to be very stringent on verifying crypto companies right now, or DeFi companies, or Web3 companies. They just, for some reason, are staying away from it, even though they've rebranded to Meta, and it just confuses me. So I would definitely be, if you use Facebook and you follow EverRise on Facebook, be very careful, because the majority of the comments from EverRise are not from us. So always do your due diligence. Click the account and see if it links to the EverRise page. But most importantly, something that we don't do on Facebook is we will not reply to comments. We will post, and that's it, until we have a solidified brand on the platform. So if you say something, we will not reply to it for this exact reason. And I just kind of want to hammer that into everyone's heads. That's my my Facebook comment there.
Yeah, certainly is important that we've got a presence on there.
Sorry, Jen?
I was just going to say, do you guys want to know a fun update about Meta and Facebook?
Sure, why not?
So they launched a wallet product, and they're going to have to close it down, I believe, in the next month or two. I can't remember the first date. It's like the first day of one of the coming months. They have to close it down completely, given that the regulators and regulatory agencies have been on top of them, and basically they can't launch the wallet or the coin that they wanted to, just because they're under a microscope. So there's a fun little fact about Meta and Facebook, which is potentially why they're being so cautious when it comes to verifying Web3 crypto pages.
And it makes sense. Listen, it's their platform, it's their rules, and we respect it. But, you know, we have to also take that into account and act accordingly. And in this case, it comes down to just, we will not reply to comments on Facebook. Let's see, where are we? Jay, you want to take over the YouTube questions? Because there are still no hands raised in Spaces.
Yeah, guys, come on, get your hands raised. We want to speak to some of you. Come up here. We don't bite, honestly. Yes. So again, I touched on it earlier. Follow-up question: we should assume that existing dApps like Everown could see their own V2 or V3 versions as they get better and more complex over time.
Sure, and I think, you know,
yes,
leveling up the dApps isn't the same as leveling up the protocol, so there wouldn't need to be an ever migrate or something. It's just stuff that the Ben and the dev team could push constantly. So, you know, version 2.01, 2.02, you know, we'll lose track because you can version something tiny in like 12 hours and then version something massive in a year. So absolutely is the answer.
I think a live version of that, for example, is you watched EverSwap go from, the old UI to the new UI, right?
Mm.
That's, a simple example. Obviously, I'm assuming this question is kind of catering to adding features as a V2 or a V3. Features will come. Features will be added. It may not necessarily be called a V2 or a V3, but we will always be working to improve our existing Dapps and the future Dapps that we release.
Lots of ideas in the pipeline. Don't worry about that. And I know that I'm going to try and say this name now, and apologize if I get it wrong. Ektaliba. Massive big up for the great work, especially for me. I was able to bridge to Phantom, looking for the ability to merge. So yeah, so they, again, bridging NFTs across to Phantom. So taking advantage of the reduction in the fees involved now, so bridging NFTs across chain. I know a lot of people in the Telegram, Discord talking about that. So again, giving that freedom and flexibility to move your NFT stake where you want it.
And again, we lowered the fee from 3% to 0.5% moving forward. So if you would like to bridge your NFT stake from one chain to another, the cost has been significantly reduced. Still no hands up, guys. I think we scared everybody away.
His space is broken.
I got one in Discord. We've answered it many times before, so I'll just do it very quickly. AsimKZ157 asks, hello, any updates on VC or exchange listings? The first is that there are no updates on VC, and there won't be until deals are closed. It's just kind of not done in the space to kiss and tell, so to speak. You don't look good if you go around saying, well, we talked to this firm and that firm. So we won't be doing that until the deal is closed. Regarding exchange listings, we had a very, very aggressive let us in movement in November. We landed on some exchanges, and now we're still hearing from people that want us to pay significant listing fees. Doing that kind of thing is not a priority for the team at the moment, so we're not going to sit here and promise you massive listings. Exchange listings are a symptom of success and not a cause of it. So as time goes by, I'm sure you will see EverRise existing on every credible exchange, but we have no concrete updates for you on that because we're focused on internal development and less on existing on centralized exchanges, which can use us for their various purposes. So unfortunately, no specific answers to that question. But if you want to go back on our prior AMAs, we've answered those at length, and you'll find the answers there. And continue to talk in Discord and Telegram, and there'll be plenty of people that will back me up on those answers too. So, but
Great
thanks.
answer.
Great answer.
Yeah,
But now are we stuck? Nothing on YouTube now or anything like that?
Yeah, there is. There's a good one here, actually. One for you, Peter. Anyone else that wants to chime in? Does EverRise have any backup plans in case the SEC starts to crack down on the type of staking that EverRise provides?
That's a pretty complicated question.
Yes.
So for the SEC to tap down specifically on the type of staking that EverRise provides, well, sure, the backup plan would be to find a solution, really. There's many different staking mechanisms available to people. The good thing about this one is that it doesn't cost anything, except for a small mint fee for the NFT stake. So there's no kind of consideration that users are engaging in to achieve the platform. So in that sense, it's a little bit safer from scrutiny than those that require constant buying or constant engagement with the protocol. I don't expect that staking will be the SEC's primary priority when it comes to regulation. The SEC has only got 40 people permanently dedicated to crypto enforcement, and I suspect the first part of that will be going towards obvious scams, rug pulls, and honeypots. The other kind of entity that may be more relevant for staking protocols is the IRS or any taxation entity. In terms of individual users, when they receive staking rewards, is that considered taxable income, or is it considered something else, which may be taxed upon the moment of sale? That, to me, is the more relevant question when it comes to staking rewards, and each individual user in any jurisdiction, whether it's the United States, England, Singapore, Nigeria, anywhere. Tax rules are different everywhere, and so I think when it comes specifically to staking platforms, it's the tax systems that will be most interested in it. But in that case, it's going to be a question more of individual user responsibility than anything else. But sure, I've got my eye on anything the SEC puts out. I don't think they're going to be making any meaningful rules in the next year. I think it's going to be more about specifically targeted enforcement against entities that have had high-profile breakdowns. So for the time being, we're very much in a wait-and-see mode, but we'll certainly be watching all the promulgated regulations and participating in notice and comment sections as well, and just keeping abreast of everything that's happening over there.
The great thing is, Peter, if you don't mind me just coming in, is also like this will happen over time, and you will get any changes to a regulatory scrutiny practices, things like that, generally have to go through different stages, and we'll be abreast of the situation ahead of time. So anything that we need to do, we can do months and months before any changes actually get implemented. We've seen this regulatory word used a lot recently due to the breakdown of CeFi, 2 trillion off of the crypto market cap gone. So certainly the Bank of England have come out. States have talked about regulation now. Regulation's coming. All right, I'm not trying to scare people. Regulation is going to come. It's going to come, and it's going to make changes across the board to a lot of the practices that happen right now. DeFi needs to get its shit together. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be blunt. They need, and DeFi protocols, they need to be looking at how they're managing their LP, and the manner of which that they perform governance, and all these considerations are going to have to be considered and looked at over the coming months and years to make sure that they fall on the right side of regulation. And I know Peter, and like Gar did before, we've set ourselves up perfectly for the current framework for regulatory scrutiny. So there's not much at the moment, but we're in a good position, aren't we? So.
Well, sure. And since we don't have many questions, I can dig a little deeper on this issue too, because it obviously interests me. When it comes to how the SEC promulgates or enforces regulations, there's kind of 2 main ways. The first is it will actually initiate a lawsuit where it uses existing laws and or regulations to prosecute people based upon bad behavior. So that's not what's going on with the question, I believe, because it's about a change in enforcement regarding staking protocols. So the second way the SEC would kind of create regulations is by publishing a proposed rule or set of rules. And after those rules are published, and say they impact staking, EverRise staking specifically in some way, then the SEC has what's called a notice and comment period, whereby anybody, any entity, any lawmaking body, or any company like us can actually submit papers to the SEC to comment on whether and how their regulation might hit the mark or might miss the mark. So if I do see a proposed law from the SEC that I think is a bad one, I'll absolutely be participating in the notice and comment phase of the SEC rulemaking procedure, as is my right, as is EverRise's right. Whether the proposed regulation will actually impact staking, who knows? We can't know. But we can seek to, if and when the SEC comes calling, engage with them responsibly and not hide the ball. Not hiding the ball is EverRise's, North Star. Here we are, 4 people, just here to answer any and every question you guys have. And it's important to maintain that kind of activist relationship with regulators as well. Because at the end of the day, they are human beings, and they want to enforce proceedings against the human beings they found most objectionable. I don't think any of us are that objectionable, and I will certainly do my best to make sure we stay on the right side of history here. And the right side of regulation.
Regulation doesn't have to be a bad thing.
It can be. And if it is bad, I'm definitely going to write a letter saying, get the hell out of here.
But, the like you're saying, Peter, like at the moment, what I'm seeing is like they're using existing laws that are out there, like wire fraud, money laundering, to go after nefarious individuals in this space. But the regulations will have to come in, and they'll start combing through every project that's, certainly not conforming to these practices that they set out. So, I would argue that we're in a very good position to speak with regulators if the need arises as to EverRise. I'm confident that what we have set up right now is more than well placed to get us through that. So it's great that we've got Peter on the team.
Thanks, Jason. Another come by tomorrow for more legal talk. Check my
absolutely
my spaces. It'll be all this boring shit again.
Can you please tell me about your... Oh, okay, here we go. So Spartacus asks, can you please tell us about your leveraging strategy and how you plan on navigating the volatile liquidity market we're heading into potentially? That's a good question. Does anyone want to have a crack at how we're going to navigate the challenging market that we're in and we could be potentially heading into further?
Are they able to define what they mean by leveraging strategy in the questions?
Yeah, because obviously we don't play with leverage.
No.
Yeah, no, EverRise as a company does not play with leverage. We don't have any couple of millions of dollars of Bitcoin collateralized somewhere that has been loaned out. Like, that is not a worry. But look, like, I'm going to call it like I see it. I think we are full on officially in a bear market, and I assume that we're going to be here for a minimum of 12 to 18 months. So what we're doing internally is we're very focused on getting more folks onboarded onto our ecosystem, but we're just going to continue to build. Like, bear market or not, it doesn't really change anything for us. We have a corporate strategy in place that will allow us to continue to keep developing. And really, that's that, you know, like, we're going to stay, we have a business model, and we're going to just stay focused on that.
Absolutely. And let me just back up and explain leverage if people don't understand. What leverage is you take your own assets and you borrow more assets secured by your own assets. So at any given time, if you're a bank or whatever else, you might have access to 5 or 10 times the amount of capital you actually have in liquid cash. So that's why you see sort of these blowups, you know, with Celsius and all the rest of the companies that are engaging in lending as a reason to exist. They are leveraged, and when crypto assets fall to a certain amount, they're engaging in forced liquidations where they have to sell to cover all of their obligations. That's not part of our business model. We're more like, if we compared ourselves to traditional companies, we're more like an Intel than a Citibank, right? So Citibank can be out here extending loans and leveraging and doing all this and that. And, you know, if and when there's a massive financial crisis, it's the banks that get liquidated first because they have their money all over the place. Whereas companies who keep healthy balance sheets based upon product sales are the ones that can keep building even when the market is down. So we're not lending money. That's not a part of the near term or probably even the far term. And so we're not exposed to the kinds of risks that can, you know, liquidate and nuke otherwise promising projects. We just don't have that kind of risk on our balance sheets.
Well said.
Yeah, it's a great answer. Maverick, my man, we are on YouTube, so I don't want to play the intro because of copyright, but what's going on?
Hey guys, I'm a first-time speaker. How are you guys?
Hi, speaker. I'm doing well.
I'm just kidding. 1 second here. TJ, Jason, Jen, Peter! And I see another member in the audience. What's up?
Hey,
Mav, how are you?
I am awesome. How are you, Justin?
I'm
The team,
doing great.
EverRise. How are you guys?
I'm wide awake now.
I'm glad. That's why I'm here. I might not be up here for long because I might lose service. I lost it twice already. I'm actually driving to LA. But hey, I just want to say thank you for the surprise.
Oh, it's great, isn't it? Like, just the team keeps building behind the scenes, and then every now and again we just drop a surprise on you guys.
That is a fact.
I mean, that's part of it too, right? We have to keep everyone engaged. And, you know, with the tools at our disposal and the talent that we have on the EverRise team, it's easy to constantly drop surprises. It's easy. You know, it doesn't feel like a ton of work. And, you know, I could say this about other companies or, you know, other DeFi protocols. I don't know. Just in general, in my 30 years of life, it's not every day that you see a company, you know, giving this kind of stuff out all the time. And in this case, I'm talking about the NFTs. But it's feasible for us. It's very feasible, and we enjoy doing it, and we're going to continue to do it because it makes you happy and it makes us happy, and it just gets you talking about EverRise even more than you are, and that is the goal. As we always say, keep tweeting, keep talking about EverRise. Educate. If you don't know, we do have an education campaign going on right now. It's as simple as sharing a screenshot of you using Revoke, tagging some friends, letting them know why EverRevoke is so important, and you could win. We announced 4 winners earlier today. I will tweet that out as I did mention, but we will have another 5 winners next week. So stay engaged.
Just want to say very quickly, CJ, a question on Telegram. Is there a time limit that you need to claim the HODL NFT? There is not a time limit on that, so they're indefinitely available to claim. Just so you know, as long as you fit the eligibility of being able to claim one.
Well said. No other hands raised at the moment. Mav, did you have a question, or you just wanted to come spread your positive energy?
I wanted to come up and say hi real quick before I lose network, and I will be there tomorrow, man. I'll be there all day tomorrow for 1 hour. I'm gonna bug you guys, yell at you guys tomorrow.
I'm holding you to that, my friend.
I will be there. Come on, risers, don't be shy. I think people don't want to come up because it's recorded. Where's Mansion? Where's Wooddock? FOMO, come on, you guys.
The call-outs are happening right now.
What the hell are you guys doing? Wooddock, Tom, Rise, Dom, Rise. What up, Andy, Enrique, Beyond Human?
I know.
Come on, you guys.
I know what Tom's doing.
Tom is, yeah, I know what Tom is doing too.
Yeah. He's watching Lord of the Rings.
Ah.
Yeah.
I have a question for Peter. So what kind of music are we looking to tomorrow before the AMA starts?
Oh man, good question. Probably some obscure medieval Renaissance choral music.
I love that. Last time it was choir music, and then he just dropped nuggets of wisdom, man. I enjoyed that AMA last time.
Yeah,
I appreciate you for that.
Last time it was Rachmaninoff. This time maybe a little Palestrina. Who knows? It's my space. I can play what I want to.
That is awesome. And don't forget your water.
Good idea.
Mav, your call-outs worked because Mansion's up. Wooddock just requested.
There you go. There's my boys. What's up?
Mansion, what's going on? Wooddock, how are you guys?
Hey.
Hey.
So, yeah, I just wanted to say, listen, I got an email today from Zen Ledger. Zen Ledger is a third party that you connect your wallet to, and it helps you with your taxes, right? So that's not a plug for them. But what I'm saying is that the email I got was them informing, I guess they were doing like a public service to their customers about rug pulls. So as the Rise holder that I am, I promptly emailed them and said, hey, you know about EverRevoke? Because if they're worried about rug pulls, then they got to be worried about nefarious tokens that have permissions, to your wallet. So what I'm saying is that, as Rise holders, this is something we can all do whenever we see an opportunity to, spread the word about the fantastic Dapps that are out there. Jump on it. You don't need to be, on the team of EverRise to do things like this, right? So I did also tweet them. I saw a tweet out there. It's like somebody with something gems with like 200,000 users. They also tweeted about EverRevoke, right? So I also took that tweet and I retweeted that to Zen Ledger as well. So this community, this is all our project, right? So we're not working it, like the team is day in and day out, but it's up to us to spread the word about these developments because we all do believe in them. That's why we're staking for the better part of 2 years, So that's all I really wanted to say.
Yeah, and
so well said.
just
Thank you.
Especially when it comes to like EverRevoke as well. I mentioned that's awesome to hear. I mean, community members going out of their way to kind of talk about and speak about the solutions that that certainly we've put together. And EverRevoke is a question like in Garden Pets is asked in the YouTube, why is EverRevoke important? Well, it's important because a lot of people don't realize, but they've got open wallet approvals on various smart contracts and NFT contracts that they may have had open for months and months, maybe even years, over a year. And, that is an open access to your wallet at any moment in time. a vulnerability or an exploit could happen, and all of a sudden your wallet can get drained of its assets. And that's the types of things that do happen in this space. And it's very easy to not realize and to kind of think, oh, it's never going to happen to me. But that's the most dangerous thing you can think. Like, and using a free to use tool like EverRevoke to kind of disconnect all of those tokens. It takes you 5-10 minutes maybe to get through them, disconnect them. But it's peace of mind knowing that you've got no open link, no open approvals.
Right. Jason, you're a little robotic, just FYI. You might want to check your connection there. But we were able to get it. At least I was able to get it. But yeah, this is the perfect entree. We don't have to be developers to introduce people to the EverRise ecosystem when it's obvious that there's a lot of people out there that don't get DeFi. They don't know it. They've gotten burned, and they don't want to touch it anymore. But this is a great way to say, hey, look how easy this is. Just connect your wallet, scan it, see something there, and you have the option to revoke those permissions. And that's just a real simple way to get somebody interested that was not interested prior, right? Because they see a bunch of tweets and they're all rolling their eyes. Maybe they're seeing EverRise like crazy out there, and but just a company like Zen Ledger is perfect, So whoever you are dealing with that is crypto related, share the EverRise ecosystem, which in whatever way you feel you want to represent it.
Thanks, Mansion. Jen and TJ do a sensational job with what is traditionally known as marketing, but as you pointed out, the team only has so much bandwidth and resources, and to have 55,000 holders, if each one of them considered marketing sort of a personal goal as well as a project goal, then imagine what would happen.
Exactly.
I also just want to point out, Mansion, you brought up the tweet that I pinned above, Alt Crypto Gems, 200K followers shared EverRevoke this morning. There's probably 5 to 10 influencers that reach out every single day saying, hey, I would love to talk about your protocol. I have a great proposal for you. I message all of them back and I say, we're not paying for influencers, but if you care about your followers, you genuinely care about your followers that you have on Twitter or whatever the platform may be, talk about EverRevoke. I will get on the phone with you. I will go over it from top to bottom. I will explain the benefits. Just let them know about it. It's a free-to-use tool. We're not making money from it. We spent time developing it to better the space. So Alt Crypto Gems above is an example of an influencer who posted it for free. And we're not going to pay anyone to post this because I believe wholeheartedly that if you care about your followers that you are making a living off of, you should literally just share the best practices available. And EverRevoke is a best practice. Simply put, it is a best practice in crypto. You need to be checking it. I check it every day. Even if I don't even pull my ledger out, I still check it because it's so easy to check. And then if there's something, I just revoke it at the end of the night, right?
Look, when something's really good, you want to share it, like your watermelon and mustard. Oops, sorry, I had to go there. But no one had to pay you to
that was a good one, dude.
To do that, right? So, and it's the same thing when you come out of a restaurant for the first time and you had a great meal, you want to tell everybody about it. So the minute you hook up, EverRevoke and you see the skeletons in the closet there from the ghosts of, crypto past, and you want to get rid of those. I mean, it's a good feeling. You want to share that. So anyone who ever uses it, it's just a great way to introduce things, and nobody should be paid to talk about EverRevoke. Like I just love that tweet that you did with the gems guy. I mean, it was just awesome because
he did that. That's him. That's not me.
Well, you retweeted it, right? Did you retweet it? Is that what you did?
We retweeted it, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's how I heard about it.
Yeah. We'll support you if you genuinely support us, right?
Exactly.
Not if you're chasing 0.5 BNB for a tweet, because, it really disgusts me that some of these influencers, again, with air quotes, they have 500,000 followers. The majority of them are bots, but still, if you genuinely care about your audience, you should want to keep them safe. And, the safer they are, the more likely they are to listen to you. So for Alt Crypto Gems to share this, I just simply said to him, I'm like, thank you. The EverRise community will support you. And, his response is as simple as, I want to keep my followers safe. Why would I not talk about this? So this is not going to be the first tweet he does about it. And it's just a genuine care for his community.
Right.
I like people like that because most of the influencers, all they want to do is secure the bag. They don't care about their followers, or they don't actually give a, you know. I appreciate genuine people like that who care about their followers, and people like them, they don't need to get paid. They genuinely care and they'll support it.
Yep. Well said, Mav. Well said, Mansion. We do have 3 more minutes. We'll get to Wooddock. Hey, Wooddock.
Howdy, what's up? I was going to skip lunch today, but Maverick had to call me out today, so I decided to come.
How's it going, brother?
What's up, my man? What's happening? What's up to everybody else, my extended family, except for Mansion. He don't know how to follow people back,
That is a fact.
No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, I thought I'd come up with a question. I got a question for Jen.
Yeah.
Maybe she can give us an update on how it's going with the VC round. How's it going over with that thing?
Wooddock, I wish I could tell you more. All I can say is it's going. We're obviously excited about it, but we aren't going to be disclosing any details until the round closes. I think one thing I will just say in general, and obviously this is my own opinion, it's a really interesting time to be fundraising right now, just given not only market conditions of crypto, but just like the macroeconomics of the world altogether. So that's been a really fun and interesting space for us to navigate, but I think it's also what separates out like who's actually going to be here for the long term versus people aren't able to just raise money off of an idea without an MVP or some sort of product or clear product market fit. So that's it's been good. That's all I can really say, unfortunately.
Thank you much. I didn't have much to say, but Matt had to call me up. But congratulations to all the V2 holders. We got a holder pass. Awesome. Thanks, Jason.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
And congratulations to you too, Wooddock. I hear you won a giveaway.
Yeah, I've won a couple actually. I have been entering. You can't win if you don't enter, right? So I've been entering.
Yeah, that's right. Wooddock, I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the AMA today, but you won one of last week's 100K Rise stakes for educating.
Oh, no, damn. I did not even know that. That's awesome. Oh, my God. Whoa,
let's go. Congratulations, Wooddock.
Oh, slap. Damn. That's what's up. I love it.
Congratulations.
I love the reaction. So genuine. James, you said something?
No, I was going to make a joke, but it's gone now.
Oh, okay. Well, perfect timing because it is 3:00. We do have meetings and we do have a lot of work to do today. But I want to thank everyone who popped up on stage. Mansion, Mav, Wooddock, appreciate it. Everyone who asked questions on YouTube, Discord. We are here every week, 2:00, to answer your questions, as well as every day at 2:00 Eastern, between Monday to Friday, other than Tuesday for the community spaces. So if you do want to pop up or you have a question and you didn't want to do it in a recorded space, tomorrow, the following day. Mav will call you out happily. Jason, Jen, Peter.
Yeah, just two quick things from YouTube. Normally, when there's a reduction in fees and taxes and things like that, there's something on the horizon with the NFT stake bridge discount, etc. Anything cooking that you can share? Well, all I can say is there's a lot cooking. All right, and there's a lot more surprises in store for you guys. And also, Dejak says, when will Jason organize a meetup for the UK holders? Again, something to look forward to in the future. We'll definitely have to do it. But yeah, lots of exciting things coming up this year, guys. I can't wait.
And one last plug: Jason has his weekly live tomorrow on Wednesdays, so make sure to check that out. And Peter, again, is going to be hosting a Twitter Spaces talking about all the legal things, specifically with corporate entities and how they interface with Web3 protocols. Right, Peter?
You got it. My favorite subject.
Yeah. So
Uh,
if you guys are looking for some more spaces to participate in, definitely tune into those.
I guess moral of the story is we're always around and we're always accessible. With that said, we will see everyone tomorrow. Hope everyone has a great rest of the day, and thank you for tuning in. And we'll chat soon. Bye, guys.
Let's go!
Thanks, everyone.
So-